Hey everybody, it's Sunday, so that means we're back with another edition of Story Time. I have with me today a yellow-spotted climbing toad. Now this is a toad that is pretty unique to us because this is the first time we've ever had this toad here at Proofs. This is a toad that comes from Malaysia, mainly the Malay Peninsula, so it's found in parts of like Borneo, Thailand, and areas in Asia. And they've only really been in the pet trade since the 90s, but it's only been recently in the last like 10 years or so that we've actually really seen them start to thrive in the pet trade because people have figured out how to breed them really well. Now, yellow-spotted climbing toads are exactly as their name implies. They are a toad, they do like to climb, and they do have yellow spots. As you can see, he's climbing right up my arm. They are one of two true arboreal toad species. Arboreal meaning that they spend their life climbing or living up in the air. Now, typically when these guys breed, the babies are going to spread out along the forest floor until they get bigger. Once they're around juvenile to adult is when you actually start to see these guys become true arboreal toads. So they like to climb up trees, up rock faces, live in hollowed out trees, hollowed out logs, things like that. Now, just like any other toad, they do have bumpy skin. That's one way to really tell the difference between a toad and a frog is by looking at the skin. If it's super smooth skin all over, frog. If it's a little bit bumpy, like almost warty-like, then it's a toad. The other is how close to water do we find them? If they need water to survive and have to always be around water or in water, it's typically going to be a frog. But if they can stray away from water and just have to be in a moist environment, well, then we have ourselves a toad. Now, the females tend to get more colorful than the males. These ones, the two that we have, are still young, but most likely this one is a female. And she will get just a little bit bigger than what we're seeing here, sometimes about an inch bigger than what she currently is. Now, just like all other amphibians, it's good to make sure that we have nice clean water for them. It's also why I'm wearing a glove, or at least trying to get her to stay on a glove, is because since amphibians have semi-permeable skin, that means their skin is essentially a sponge, they can absorb things out of their environment. So if she were to just sit on my hand, she could absorb up anything I touched throughout today, whether it's soap or hand sanitizer, lotion, or anything I picked up from touching different surfaces. They can absorb directly into their skin and it can make them sick. So typically we'd use non-nitrile based gloves. Basically you don't want any powdered gloves, sorry. And then I usually get them wet. So I had a spray bottle I sprayed these over with. And then also the cup that I had her in was also sprayed down with water. Now, I picked an interesting story today. Today's story is called Dear Treefrog by Joyce Sidman. I don't have any tree frogs here. I do have some Amazon milk frogs. I do have some red-eyed tree frogs, but I feel like I've recently used those guys. And so I picked the yellow-spotted climbing toad because it actually looks closer to a gray tree frog, which is something we would see around here. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to get started with our story. And hopefully she decides to just go ahead and stay here on my hand. So here we go. This is Dear Tree Frog by Joyce Sidman. Summer. I see you suddenly among the tangled green, a tiny dollop of frog where before there was only a leaf. You look so bumpy and soft, all tucked inside yourself, watching me, watching you. Are you new here too? So still you hold yourself, you don't hop or scurry away. So still the busy jumbled world slows down around you, and I slow down too. Such quiet feet and tender toes that stick so well to everything you climb, exploring each wet leaf and velvet petal, holding tight as they dip and sway. To find you, I must be a little different from my everyday self. As bees whiz, leaves tickle, heels sink into dirt, soft dirt, I look and breathe and settle, growing calmer, steadier, a little less lonely. Here you are again, Perched on the stem like a sailor on the rigging, gold eyes sparkling in flecks of sun. I'm missing a faraway friend today, Treefrog, but you are the tiny master of the sea green ship, and I will be your first mate. Do you remember your other life, swimming through duckweed with a tail like a ribbon? Do you remember how the water felt against your skin? How you could drink and breathe at the same time? How fast you could move without legs? Do you remember when you wriggled up into the sunshine? How strange it felt to take your very first hop from one life into another? Some kids came over today. I thought I wanted to share your upturned face, your quiet hello. We searched in all the usual places, inside giant rhubarb ears deep in the forest of daylilies. Those kids cartwheeled and trampled and scoffed and left. You hid, and I afterward was glad. The world is wet and wild tonight, roaring, thrashing, booming. I hope you are somewhere safe, Treefrog, holding on tight with those grippy toes, riding your snug saddle of leaves. Next morning, the yard swims with wrecked leaves and tattered twigs, and the sun blinks open, the birds sing the world back together again. I love knowing my days might have frogs in them. Sometimes when I can't find you, I find something else I've never said hello to. Hello, spotted dragon, glittery fly, gray high jumper. Hello, furry butterfly, shy beetle, pale plant hopper. I see you now. Fall. No frogs today in the yard at the park or by the pond. Good thing I took pictures of you with my eyes to keep inside me when I'm trying to be brave. In gym today, during child's pose, I became a tree frog, curled around the still green center of my heart. Others found their centers too. So many tree frogs there on the gym floor. There's someone I want you to meet, Treefrog. Someone who likes to look. Someone who doesn't mind waiting. Someone whose smile reminds me of yours. Can you please come out and say hello? Dear Treefrog, here you are. Against the window glass, we see more of you than ever. Your pale belly and gummy toes, your half-moon throat that flutters silently, your breath so close to ours. These golden leaves remind us of your eyes. This puddle ice reminds us of the deep down place you'll sleep this winter, tucked away, safe, strong, patient. Winter. Like two hands holding each other through chilly winds, we will wait for you. Hold on, I gotta get my toad back. Spring. Anything is possible among the soft spring fronds and singing waters of this wide green world when you are a tree frog or when you're looking for one. We see you suddenly, a tiny dollop of frog where before there was only a leaf. You look so familiar, all tucked inside yourself, watching us, watching you. Dear tree frog, did you miss us too? The end. Well, there you have it. This was a nice poem about tree frogs called Dear Tree Frog by Joyce Sidman. I hope you enjoyed this. It kind of goes through the different phases of what we see of tree frogs. And also just kind of gave us a little insight into how you have to be quiet and still and kind of wait for the frogs to come to you. That if you're patient in life, good things will come, including tree frogs. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed learning about our yellow-spotted climbing toad here, and I hope you enjoyed our book, Dear Tree Frog. We'll see you guys next time.